Welcome to the Fishbowl Radio, everybody. My name is Chief here, and joining me today is Mike Honcho and our special guest for this 2024 Louisiana Ragin Cajuns versus Kennesaw State preview, and we're going to review the Grambling game as well, is Gradney. How you doing today, Gradney?
Hello. Hi. Konnichiwa. ¿Cómo estás? ¿Cómo ça va? And all those other words that mean hello.
How you doing today, Mike?
Doing great. I'm here with the most intelligent man on the planet, and I'll let the listeners decide on who I'm talking about here. Doing fantastic.
Okay. So as we saw, I mean, Gradney, you were at the game Saturday. What was some initial thoughts that you thought walking away from the game and, having kind of a day to digest and kind of see what happened? What you thought about the Cajuns on Saturday, Gradney?
I thought we looked pretty good. I thought later on in the games we started to clean up on defense because I'm not going to lie. I thought our defense was going to be sus the whole game, but our offense is clicking. We got a kicker who can kick. So, feeling pretty good.
Mike, what you thought about Saturday's performance from the Cajuns?
Well, I got to start off by the one thing. So, if people who hang out with us would know that Granny does a fantastic version of the national anthem during Cajun games, and just got to say I'm a little disappointed. The fireworks people kind of scared a certain person, not naming names, Gradney. And he couldn't finish his song, so I was kind of worried that the game might not go as good because Gradney not doing his national anthem is kind of scary. But I think the Cajuns did really well. It sucks when it's a team from the FCS. It's really hard to judge how good a team is. I mean, especially week one. You never know how good anybody is week one. But I mean, from what I saw from the Cajuns, if this rolls over to the next few weeks, I'm gonna like it. But I kind of still just have questions. But overall, the Cajuns did pretty good Saturday night.
Yeah, I mean, like it's week one. People like to overreact week one. You've seen all over Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, all those sites here. People just freaking out about week one games here. And I mean, we've only got a one game sample size. There's a lot left in this season for us to digest how these teams are going to react and how they're going to play. So far, I think the Cajuns played very well on Saturday. I mean, they were able to throw the ball all over the field against Grambling. Not really a good test for them, I would say. Not like, but I love Coach Desimo's comments that he said today. Like, we are who we are. What our record says we are. Basically, we're a 6-7 football team. We have to prove to other people otherwise. Here, we haven't quite. I'm gonna quote what he said. We haven't done shit yet. So that's exactly what he said in his press conference today. So I'm really glad that he has his mind set. Like, this seems like a completely different head coach from, previous years and how he would handle himself, his temperament and stuff. But he's kind of being more, open and candid about it. Like, we got to get the stuff done. Like, this is the year. This seems like this is the year that we have to get it done. And he seems like he's in that mindset to get it done this year. So I was impressed with the way the defense played. Very disciplined football I saw Saturday against Grambling, only committing not that many penalties at all. I mean, Grambling had it was a pretty clean football game for both sides. I would say Grambling only got like 6 penalties in their game, and both teams were very disciplined there. So I mean, that's very good to see. I thought the Cajuns could have ran the ball a little bit more in that game, but I mean, that's just picking and choosing. At times, I felt like the run blocking was a little bit inconsistent for the Cajuns here at times during the game. But look, it's week one. I'm not going to dwell on it too much about it. I do think the Cajuns played very well in that game all around here. I would have to say that it was a pretty solid effort if you're looking at it all the way through there. So, any areas of improvement, Mike, you think the Cajuns can make on going into Saturday?
I think you hit it, the running game, and I guess it's just me, following the Cajuns for so long. Running's kind of been our thing. We've never been a team to pass the ball, and it was weird Saturday watching Ben go out there, throwing the ball. I mean, the first drive we had that deep pass. I forgot for how long, but I mean, deep pass. We were passing the ball a lot more than running it, unless I'm just not used to that as a Cajuns fan. And I liked it. Ben went out there and did his thing, and he did what I was hoping that he would do, coming back from being injured pretty much all last year. I just wish we could see more of the running game because if you could run the ball really good, then the passing game just gets better, in my opinion. But I mean, from what I saw Saturday, they only committed one foul for 5 yards, and if you do that as a team, you're going to win a lot of games. I mean, that's disciplined football, and for years under Coach Dez, I've preached about how they have been undisciplined. You look at the New Orleans Bowl when they played against Jackson State. They really weren't. They were penalized quite a bit, and just the team always felt to me like they were, very heavily penalized. And seeing the improvement of them only committing one foul this game against Grambling was a pretty big deal. So I just hope the running game gets better. Defense looked pretty solid. Grambling actually has one of the better, offenses in the SWAC, but it's not saying a whole lot. But I feel like the defense took a big improvement. First year coordinator for us. I think pretty solid defense, and if they continue with this kind of defense, I think it could go pretty far.
Gradney, what you think about Grambling and what areas of improvement that you think the Cajuns could do to get better again, to go get better for Kennesaw State on Saturday? What you thought?
I think our defense looked great. I think they just need to clean up a bit of tackling, but that's just me being nitpicky because that tackling looked atrocious at times. Not gonna lie. But that was only a couple of plays where it just looked bad. I feel like the kids are looking a lot. I feel like it's Kennesaw State.
Yeah, I think so. We had got some video here, and so if you're gonna look at this one here, let me pull this up for y'all real quick so y'all can see what I'm talking about here. So look, yep, that's the back corner there. Boom, wide open. We're gonna see a lot of that coming up in this year with those kind of plays there that you see them just getting wide open there. So like as long as we have, the receiving core of the Cajuns are very strong and they're very good at what they do. So I think that's going to be one of those things that we're going to have to look at here when we get into those games and see how we're going to be. So it's just going to be, that's just the way it's going to be for a while. Like, is this going to be the offense? Or are we going to be throwing the ball all over the field against everybody we play against? It's going to be very hard to do that there. I know Mike brought the Jacksonville State game in the New Orleans Bowl, and Cajun should have won that game point blank. Coach Dez, I know he feels that when you commit that many turnovers, Jacksonville State should have lost that game. Our defense played very well in that game. Offense didn't do much, which maybe led to Chandler not getting the starting job there because he didn't play great. The offense didn't play great. So it was kind of one of those that you may be thinking about, like that might have influenced his decision in the game time. Ben, I'm glad for him to come off his injury and play the way he did. Very good job by him. Jacob Bernard didn't have the best day, muffed the punt, and, ball hit him right in the hands, bounced off him, and got picked off. Wasn't really on Ben's fault there. Hit him right in the hands, should have caught the ball. That stuff you expecting week one, that's just something that happens there. But I feel like Jacob Bernard's going to bounce back in week two, give him some time here. Robert Williams played well. I was really proud that we used the tight ends. Like I mentioned that in our position group breakdown, that I felt that it would be one of the weaker points of the team because it wasn't as experienced as the rest of the team is. But looking at it there, Kay Jensen getting the ball a good bit there. And Terrence Carter, like we expected him to have a big year leading this Cajun tight end room here, and he's doing a pretty good job there himself. So that is something we're going to have to look at here, and as we go through the season here, are they going to keep these tight ends rolling here? And Terrence Carter's like one of those like nimble guys. He's got a lot of speed on the outside there. I think he can be a matchup problem for defenses as we get into some they'll play in some of these other non-conference games, such as Tulane coming up in Wake Forest here. So with the Cajuns having like I think it's a bye, huh, Mike? They have a bye right before Tulane, I think it is.
Yes, so they play Kennesaw and then they have a bye and then it's Tulane. So they have a week
Okay.
a week to kind of prepare for Tulane.
I wasn't quite too sure about that there, but I think that was going to be one of the things that we're going to look at here. I think that when they come off that bye here, how they incorporate the tight ends in the offense there. And, I think it's going to create some matchup problems here, especially Kay Jensen. Kay Jensen is a very tall man, basically. Whenever you get in the red zone, tight ends are a very popular target for you to target in the red zone there. So I think whenever you get in the red zone, you got to make points there, and that's something that the Cajuns are going to look to do against Kennesaw State for sure, and as the season goes along here. So let's switch gears and talk about Kennesaw State a little bit here. They lost their first game of the year to the Roadrunners of UTSA. They're in not they didn't do great basically here. So their offense overall is ranked in the country. This is accurate as of the first week. And so rushing wise, their offense is ranked 122nd. Passing, they're ranked 82nd. So far, obviously their passing game is their biggest threat for the Cajuns. Now, defensively, the rushing is giving up 76 yards a game, 42nd in the country so far, 122nd in the country when it comes to pass defense. So their defense ranks 105th overall. Not great numbers to really start the year. And, them losing to UTSA opening week doesn't work out well for them. They lost 28-16. They were on the road, so they might do something there as we go through our stats. Again, like you're looking a little bit in terms of the rankings, ranked 47th in offense and 39th on defense overall. Offense rushing is 93rd in the country, 118. Cajuns are in the top 20 in passing with 363 yards a game at 19th ranked so far. Defensively, the rush defense for the Cajuns is 39th in the country, and pass defense is ranked 59th in the country. So they're going to take on Kennesaw State at 6 o'clock Central Time on ESPN+. So that is something that we all have to look forward to, and we get to see how it's all going to go. So it is interesting to see what's going to happen there. Cajuns did beat Grambling 40-10. So that's kind of like recapping what we had going on here. But I do think that Robert Williams and his wide receiver group should have a good day against this Kennesaw State secondary. Mike, what do you think about looking ahead to Kennesaw State?
So I didn't expect Kennesaw State to hold in with UTSA. UTSA is kind of, for the past few years, been one of the top programs in the group of five. They've always been up there with, just being one of those teams that everybody thinks that's, really good. I think this is kind of a stepping stone for the Cajuns. I don't think the Cajuns is going to win this one as big as they did against Grambling. I do think the Cajuns will win this game, and they should, on paper, win this game. And I said, I think it's a stepping stone. I think their schedule just gets a little bit harder and harder. You go from Grambling, then you go from Kennesaw State, who's in their second year of being on the FBS level, and then you have Tulane right afterwards. So you're slowly building up, which is what I like. So you get all those first week jitters out against a team that is on paper and statistically supposed to be weaker than you. And then you go to a team like Kennesaw State, who, again, on paper is supposed to be a team that's worse than the Cajuns. But I do think it's going to be a little bit of a closer game. But overall, I think the Cajuns should have a pretty good game. If Ben comes out and performs the way he did, I don't think we should have a problem offensively. Just defense needs to learn how to tackle. Like Gradney said, we've seen a few missed tackles for that Grambling game and kind of had me a little worried. They gave up a few big plays that didn't really do a whole lot in the end, but against a really good offensive team, those big plays given up can actually hurt us in the future. So just clean up the tackling, and if Ben comes in and does what he does against Grambling, I think the Cajuns should win this game pretty easily, but I don't think a blowout like against Grambling.
What you think, Gradney, looking ahead, how you see this playing out when they go take on the Kennesaw State Owls?
I think the Cajuns have a pretty good shot at winning Kennesaw State's not really looking great as far as third down conversions rate, and our Cajuns defense is pretty good about forcing the fourth downs. I would like to see the Cajuns run the ball more against Kennesaw State, which shouldn't be a problem. I think our offense is going to really do well. But like Alex said, on paper, Kennesaw State is not looking, too bad of a matchup, but we'll see when it happens.
Yeah, I'm going to piggyback off of what both y'all kind of said there. I mean, we had mentioned them running the ball more. That was the missed tackles. I think that is something. Whenever you can wrap up and be a definitive tackling team, it will really help out your team, obviously, because you're going to be stopping the threat. Maybe put them in. When you get Mike, what you were talking about earlier about these busted plays on the defense, giving up big chunk plays on defense, could really hurt you at some point. When you play one of these higher octane offenses here. And it's going to be tough when you get stops there. So I think here, looking at how this game is going to go here, if I had to give a score prediction here, I thought the Cajuns scored a good bit of points here. We were a little bit over last game. I think I said 42. They scored 40. So I'm kind of around the same ballpark, but I think the Cajuns might get, I'm going to say 31. I think the Cajuns win it. I think the Cajuns do beat Kennesaw State here. Kennesaw State's an FCS They're transitioning over, so this is their first year in FBS. So this should be their first. This is their first FBS team that they play at home. So that crowd's gonna be excited. So this is kind of I would say this is a trap game for sure for the Cajuns because you got Tulane waiting there and you got that bye week. I know they probably would. I mean, I'm not a big fan of bye weeks being this early in the season. I love to have them week 5, week 6. That way you can recoup some of you guys due to injuries. You're probably not going to need it as much here, but with it coming up right there, you got to get these guys ready to play, and they're going to be jazzed there. They're going to be jazzed. So I think the silence in the home crowd early is going to be a big key in this game here, and it's going to get everything under control and under wraps here. So I think the Cajuns do end up winning this game. Let's say they'll give you 31-17. What you thinking, Mike?
I was thinking 28-14. I think my prediction last week was 35-10, if I'm not mistaken. And for a while, I was like, there might be a chance this happened. But I think 28-14. I do think they have a better offense than Grambling does. And while I do like the Cajuns' defense, I do think they might give up 2 touchdowns. But I think the Cajuns can win. Like I said, 28-14, I feel like it's a pretty good score.
Johnny takes off.
So, what you think, Gradney, about this matchup here?
I think I'm going to piggyback off of Alex. I think it might be the same 28-14.
Okay. So, we're going to pick some Sunbelt games here. That's, I love picking Sunbelt games here. So, let me pull this up real quick here. I don't know why this thing is being... Why is this? Let's go pull up the scores here. What y'all think about NFL starting up on Thursday?
Excited, but me being over here, just ready for Sunday. I told my wife that I kind of scared Sunday because I could get really into my emotions for football games, and Sundays have been nice and peaceful for a while, and the Saints kind of one of those teams that it's hard to stay peaceful with. Watching a preseason game instead, I'm not going to get angry.
I feel that 100% with the Saints. Trust me.
So I got angry the first preseason game. So I'm kind of trying to prepare myself to just get angry at myself.
I'm just glad that it's just preseason games. They don't count because, man. So looking at Saturday, Troy taking on Memphis there. Memphis favored by 18 points. Mike, who you got in that game there?
So I can't remember, and I'm sorry, people, for not knowing this answer, but I want to say that I chose Nevada to beat Troy last week. Part of me thinks I did, but Troy they lost a lot of good talent this year. They're still a good team. I will not deny that. But I do think Memphis does win this game. But I want to say I called the Nevada beating the Troy game, and I watching that score, I was like, look at that, I got it right.
What you think, Gradney? Who you got in that game, Troy or Memphis?
I'm gonna go Memphis as well.
I'm gonna have to go exactly. I feel like we're all parrots. We're all kind of repeating each other, so I'll go with Memphis as well. I think they'll beat Troy in that game there. So UTSA going on the road to take on Texas State. Texas State, the line's very close on this one. 2-point favorites is Texas State. Maybe they're giving the home discount there. What you think, Mike?
So I watched the Texas State versus Lamar game, thinking shouldn't be much of a problem. Lamar actually came very close to having a chance to win that game against Texas State. So kind of had me questioning things. Again, it's week 1, so you kind of don't know a team really well. I hate to pick for it, but I'm gonna have to go Texas State. UTSA losing beating Kennesaw State was a nice win. But I just think Texas State might have just had some preseason jitters against Lamar. I do think Texas State can win this game.
Gradney, what you thinking there?
I'm going Texas State too.
All right, so UTSA and Texas State, man, I think that's kind of part of it. I think week 1, you got the jitters, you got to figure out what's going on there. So, I do think they kind of had a little bit of jitters in that game, Texas State. We've had a couple of Sunbelt. Sunbelt did not perform well this past weekend, with some teams barely getting by. Arkansas State was one of them as well. Texas State being included in that group there. I think Texas State does end up beating UTSA in this game. I think it'll be close. I kind of agree with Vegas on that one. Give me Texas State here. Marshall taking on Virginia Tech. Virginia Tech got upsetted this past week. What you think, Mike?
I think Virginia Tech comes back with vengeance. I think Virginia Tech wins this one. Marshall looked pretty good, but nothing too big coming out of them week 1. I think Virginia Tech comes back with vengeance after losing to Vanderbilt. I got to go to Virginia Tech.
Who you thinking, Gradney?
I'm going with Virginia Tech. Virginia Tech is about to ball next week.
Yeah, I was kind of surprised that about that game there. Vegas has them at 19.5, and it was just crazy that Vanderbilt was able to pull that off there. The CW network, which I'm kind of interested in seeing, that'll be on your local CBS station, the CW. I'm going to go with, I think Virginia Tech does rebound, though. I think Marshall will lose this game. But I'm going to go with 17 points. I don't think it's going to be as favored with the spread 19.5. I think Marshall will do some things here to kind of keep it closer than what Vegas thinks, but I do think it'll be kind of somewhere around that score. Give me Virginia Tech, though. It is week 1. I don't want to put too much emphasis on teams here. It was just week 1. A lot of overreactions coming on Monday, Monday water cooler talk. So Gardner Webb taking on James Madison. Mike, what you think of that game?
I think James Madison wins it. They looked very good Saturday. Gardner Webb, if I'm not mistaken, out of the Big South Conference, you don't really hear a lot of them out of that conference. I don't pay attention a lot to the FCS, but I kind of know a little bit about the Big South, if I'm not mistaken. They're an all right team, but I think James Madison wins this one. I don't know. I just feel like James Madison's an underdog team this year.
What you thinking, Gradney?
I'm agreeing with Mike again. I think James Madison will close off the dub.
Okay. James Madison, looked like they were gonna win basically playing the Sun Belt championship game, and they had that Great year last year. I think they'll win this one. I got them going 2-0. Give me James Madison to beat Gardner Webb. Man, I was hoping for this team to pull it off last week, but they just came up a little bit short. East Carolina going the road against Old Dominion. East Carolina's favored by 2.5 points. Mike, what you thinking?
So, I was paying attention to the game a little bit while watching the Cajuns play, and I was generally surprised because I know I went on and said that South Carolina's going to win this one, and I kind of sounded extremely confident that it wasn't going to be close. And kudos to Old Dominion for keeping the game close. We're actually leading at a few points in the game. Uh, so part of me is wondering if that was just the first week. Um, you know, them just being good and South Carolina just not having it, or if that was a problem. But I'm gonna go with Old Dominion on this one. I'm gonna I picked against them last week and they almost proved me wrong, so I'm scared to go against them this week. Give me Old Dominion.
Okay. I got Old Dominion losing to East Carolina. I think East Carolina is going to be able to take care of this game, be able to beat them here. Like I said, week one, don't want to overlook anybody too much or look into too much with anybody because it is week one. I like to get a sample size. Give me 4 games, and I'll actually tell you how good a team actually is or not. But give me East Carolina. I think they'll go 2-0. I think Old Dominion goes 0-2 in that game. So, Gradney, who you got in that game? East Carolina or Old Dominion?
Old Dominion.
Okay. All right. So we're going on South Alabama versus Ohio. Who you thinking, Mike?
So I know I got this one right. And kudos to Jalen too for calling it with me. North Texas pulled off the win against South Alabama. Very high scoring game. I don't think Ohio's that great of a team this year in the MAC. I do still think that South Alabama is a good team in the Sun Belt. I just thought North Texas was a better team, and it was proven. But I got South Alabama win this one. I think they bounce back strong in week 2 and take care of business against Ohio.
What you thinking, Gradney?
I'm going against Mike here. I'm going Ohio.
Okay, I got South Alabama winning this game here. I think they'll be able to take care of business here, be able to rebound from last week's loss to North Texas. So give me the Jaguars, South Alabama. William and Mary taking on Coastal Carolina. There's no spread on this one here. They you know what? I was looking at South Alabama and Ohio. Their spread was like 1.5 points. That's kind of close, but so William Mary, Coastal Carolina. I got Coastal winning that one. What you think, Mike?
So surprising enough, not surprising enough, but I know last week I talked about maybe South Carolina, Coastal Carolina wouldn't be as good without Grayson McCall, and was wondering about the offense. Well, their offense pretty much exploded the other night, and I was like, well, they might actually still be a problem team with us in the Sun Belt. I gotta go Coastal. They proved themselves the other night with their offense. Maybe it was a bad week 1 performance. But from what I saw, offensive wise, Coastal Carolina could get it done, and I think they could take care of William and Mary pretty easily.
And like I said, I'm not going to reserve any comments about Coastal Carolina or the rest of the team until we get 4 games in, because it's kind of hard to, pick and choose how these games are actually be played and won with the way these guys are teams. You don't really know what your identity is as a team until you get a couple of games in the season. Are you a run first team, run heavy, that kind of thing? So, or a pass air raid, whatever. So, I'm still kind of waiting on that one. What you think, Gradney?
I'm going Coastal Carolina.
Got the Coastal Carolina Chanticleers. All right. Chattanooga taking on Georgia State. There's no line in this game. What you think, Mike?
I gotta go with Georgia State. They played a pretty close game against Georgia Tech. Georgia Tech ended up pulling away and won. I just think that Chattanooga isn't doing that hot this year. Again, reserving stuff, but they didn't look good week 1 at all. I think Georgia State wins it. I don't think they get blown out as bad as they did week 1. Chattanooga, but I do think it's going to be a win for Georgia State.
What you think, Gradney?
Same. I'm going with Georgia State.
Another Georgia State pick. I got Georgia State winning this one. It shouldn't even be close here. I think Georgia State will run away with this one. Like you said, Mike, Chattanooga did not look good at all in that week 1 game. But then again, it is week 1, like I keep saying. That's just the way it is. So the Cajuns have a 14.5 point spread against Kennesaw State, in case y'all want to know that one. We all picked Louisiana to win, so we'll just keep skipping that one by. Georgia Southern taking on Nevada. Mike, what you got in that game?
So I picked Nevada win last week. I'm going to pick Nevada win this week. Georgia Southern was looking very good against Boise State for a little while, and the game got away from them. I got to go Nevada. They've looked really, really strong this year, except giving up, giving up the lead to SMU. They had that downfall, but this is week 3 for them. They looked really good against Troy. I got to go with them. Give me Nevada.
What you think, Gradney? Who you got in that game?
I got Boise. I think they're going to fix their problems and pull off an upset.
So you going Nevada?
Yes.
Okay. All right. So we got 2 for Nevada. I would love Georgia Southern to upset Nevada right here. I would love to pull it, but spread being 2 points, is it a week 1 thing with Nevada, or was it like, Georgia Southern, like Mike said, played very well against Boise State until, the second half showed up and they kind of got away from them there. But I think that I'll agree with both of y'all though. I think Nevada wins it though. I can't see myself pulling for it. So we're going against Vegas here, but I don't think Vegas is right at all on this one. I think a 7 or a 10 point win for Nevada is definitely in the cards there. So give me Nevada to beat Georgia Southern. Tulsa taking on Arkansas State. Mike, Arkansas State had a scare there. What you thinking?
Yeah, they had a very big scare. You and I are watching the game, walking back to our vehicles after the UL game, and Central Arkansas went for it. They tried to win it. They couldn't get there in overtime. Well, not overtime. I'm sorry. They didn't make. I'm thinking of the Abilene Christian Tech game. They had a chance. They let Arkansas State score a touchdown with a few seconds left. I was very, very much surprised. I didn't think Central Arkansas had a chance against them. Tulsa looked very good against Northwestern State, but Northwestern State has a first-year head coach. They're generally not a good team in the Southland Conference, so it's hard to say. They got a high-ranked offense though over there in Tulsa, but I'm going to go to Arkansas State. I think it's going to be a very, very close game, but I got to go to Arkansas State.
I agree with Mike. I think it's
you agree with Mike Gradney?
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I agree with Mike. I think Arkansas State is going to pull off the dub.
Okay. I'm going to go. Arkansas State has me a little bit questioning them, but I do think it was a week 1 jitters. I think they played sloppy that game, and they almost cost them at the end of it. Tulsa's coming off a win themselves. Give me Arkansas State. I think they'll rebound. I think they'll go 2-0. I think they'll figure it out and better do what they got to do. UAB taking on Monroe, ULM basically. So what you think, Mike?
I got UAB winning this game. Monroe did look good against Jackson State, but I don't know. I just cannot see me picking Monroe. And UAB's kind of been one of those teams that's been on the rise the past few years, and I just think UAB wins this one, but I do think it is a close game.
What do you think, Gradney?
I'm agreeing with Mike again. I'm going UAB.
Going UAB? I agree with both of y'all. I think UAB takes this one here. 12.5 point favorites here. Sign me up for that all day. I think they'll take care of business here. Southeastern Louisiana taking on Southern Miss, the Lions. What you think, Mike?
So Southeastern got embarrassed against Tulane. I was expecting for it to be not a close game, but I expect to be a little bit competitive, and it just never was. And I don't know if that's because the Tulane's really good or Southeastern's really bad, but Southern Miss looked good for a little bit against Kentucky. I think Southern Miss takes care of business on this game.
Mm-hmm.
What you think, Gradney?
I'm going Southern Miss as well.
Okay. Southern Miss got blanked by Kentucky 31-0. Southeastern didn't have much of a chance against Tulane there. Very unfortunate for them. They're losing 52-0. So somebody's going to score some points here to win this game. Okay, some offense is going to score in this game. So give me Southern Miss to knock off Southeastern. I would say this is the game of the week for the Sun Belt. I know a lot of Sun Belt fans will be tuning into this one. App State taking on number 14 Clemson. Clemson is 17-point favorites in this one. Mike, what you think here?
So, I thought App State was going to handle East Tennessee pretty easily, but the game was a little bit closer. I think East Tennessee lost maybe by 10 points, which kind of surprised me. Clemson got embarrassed against Georgia. That's easy to say. They did not look good at all. Offense couldn't get anything done. Defense couldn't stop anybody. I still think Clemson wins this game. I just think that I don't know. Clemson's a very, very shaky team this year. I don't think they're as good as they have been. Dabo hasn't been able to prove himself lately, and App State, like I said, just based off of week one, again, it could have just been the first game jitters. They didn't blow East Tennessee away, and I really thought they should have won that game by more points. So I got to go with Clemson.
What you think, Gradney?
I think I'm gonna go with App State for the upset.
Oh, App State with the upset. Okay. All right. So yeah, Clemson looked shaky against Georgia. Now we're talking Georgia, just missing the playoffs, perennial playoff contender for college football. And App State can spoil teams here like they have throughout their history of being, the most famous one of all was the Big House upset against Michigan. That has been played for, since 2007. That has been played. It is one of the greatest upsets that I've ever seen in college football history, and it will remain that way. I don't think it happens though. I think Dabo, they figure it out. I don't trust this pick completely. I think Vegas is overhyping Clemson. I think they escape with a 7-point win. Now, I think that's the way it's going to be because it's scary out there if you're a Clemson fan because I think this one's going to scare them. And we'll see what happens with that one there. But I do not trust Clemson that much in this game, to be honest with y'all, just based on what I've seen. They might be looking ahead to NC State next week. So where, Coastal Carolina quarterback Grayson McCall is over there now. So we'll see how that goes there when we get to week 3 there. So without further ado here, I think that's all we had here for the Fishbowl Radio. Anything you want to say before we get off here, Gradney?
Thank y'all for having me.
What, you want to say anything before we get off, Mike?
No, just watch out for the Cajuns Saturday night on ESPN Plus against Kennesaw State. I know I like to talk about the other sports. I again started doing research. It's been a busy Labor Day for me, but if I'm not mistaken, soccer team takes on Rice in Houston Thursday and LSU Sunday, if I'm not mistaken, in Baton Rouge, and volleyball team plays a tournament at A&M this weekend. I think it's A&M. It's somewhere in Texas. So I know both soccer games are going to be on ESPN Plus, so if you have some time, pay attention to them, give them a little bit of love. Volleyball, I don't think is streamed on any devices this week, so, if you can go out there, support them, good. But just, let's just keep enjoying this Cajuns. Football team had a pretty good win. I must say the atmosphere felt really good Saturday, even though the crowd was 23,000, which was a pretty good showing. The way the stadium filled up and the way it looked during the game was absolutely amazing. I loved it. It wasn't spread out like it used to be to where the stadium looked naked. It actually looked like a real stadium. And the light show after scoring a touchdown, that is honestly one of the best things they've ever done at the stadium. It really adds like an electric atmosphere. So let's keep supporting the Cajuns when that new stadium is built. Let's try to fill it up. So when we when we're playing these teams and, we're scoring touchdowns and winning games, we could have these cool little light shows and just have cool atmospheres and just have a good, a good time at Cajun Field. You know, just let's keep supporting them.
It was definitely needed. I will say that it's just a taste of what this new stadium is going to do here. They got some other upgrades here too. I loved it, that the light show and stuff. It definitely, I think it helped actually energize the crowd too. Like the students got a good show out of it there too. Like the freshmen going to Cajun Field for the first time. That wasn't there last season. So with that all being there, I felt the atmosphere of 23,000 people was very good. And, it's kind of reminiscent of the atmosphere for the Sun Belt Championship game, which was, Napier's last game as a Cajuns coach here in 2021. That was what it reminded me of here, like atmosphere-wise. It's been a while since we had a crowd like that at Cajun Field, being that energized instead of just being out there feeling it, the ambience of the stadium and stuff. So it was cool. Just seeing the bare bones of the structure, the, press box and the seating on the home side not being completed. It's kind of like, it's like a little small taste. Like we just got to get through this season to get open Our Lady of Lourdes Stadium here. I like what Coach Desimo is his mindset. His mindset's in a great place here. And, I think we've said this on this, this show here. Like if he's 6 and 7, he might be on a hot seat, or he might be getting canned at the end of the year. So that is something that we've talked about on this show here. So I'm kind of pulling for him here. I'm really pulling for the Cajuns to actually get the job done, this season. So, look, 1-0 to start off is a great way to start off here. Hopefully, we can make it 2-0 when we come back here next Monday or whatever, Monday at 7 o'clock here, that we're talking about 2-0. We're, going through the bye week and then getting ready for the Tulane game that next upcoming week. Thank y'all for tuning in here to the Fishbowl Radio. It'll be a great, wonderful night that we're going to see y'all here next time here on the Fishbowl Radio. Follow the Fishbowl on Facebook, X, Instagram, TikTok, YouTube. We're all over this place, man. As I would say here, if you watching this here and you need an invitation, here's my invitation for y'all to come like us and, subscribe to us here. As we like to say here, welcome to the Fishbowl. Have a good night, Fishbowl Nation.